Hi, I'm Lucia, and today I'm going to be reading the chapter I wrote for this book, Naming the Goddess, published by Moon Books. Now, April Fool's Day is a time for all things about tricks and tricksters, and my chapter in Naming the Goddess is about Eris, who is a trickster goddess. You don't actually get that many trickster goddesses. You get quite a lot of trickster gods. Loki's probably a most famous one. But Eris is a trickster goddess and is probably the most famous trickster goddess. Now, my chapter on Eris starts with a quote from the Brockhampton Reference Dictionary of Classical Mythology. In Greek mythology, the goddess of discord, the sister of Eris, and according to Hesiod, daughter of Nyx, night, not being invited to the marriage of Peleus, revenged herself by means of the golden apple of discord. Now, in her mythological and historical context, that short description sums up Eris's main claim to fame. According to the much-told heroic epic of the ancient world, Eris was the goddess who started the whole Trojan War. In a fit of pique at not being invited to the party all the other gods were going to, she decided to get her own back. She threw into the room a golden apple inscribed Callisti, which means to the fairest one, knowing the deities would row over who should have it. Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite all wanted the glittering trophy. To solve the argument, Zeus asked Paris, the king of Troy's son, to judge the contest. The three goddesses tried to bribe him. More lad about the city wall than good leadership material, Paris declined Hera's offer of political power and Athena's offer of battle skills in favour of Aphrodite's proffered chance to have the most beautiful woman in the world. That was Helen. Menelaus of Sparta's trouble and strife. Now, the rhyming slang for wife might not have been coined in ancient Greece, but strife was Eris's other name, and trouble was what she was all about causing. The Trojan War ensued. Roll on several thousand years to the 1950s and an all-night bowling alley in America, where two young Californians were drinking coffee and discussing how to put the world to rights. Solve the problem of discord, said one, and all other problems vanish. Indeed, said the other, chaos and strife are the roots of all confusion. So they later wrote in the Principia Discordia, the sacred text of the Discordian Society. The book has the subtitle, How I Found the Goddess and What I Did to Her When I Found Her. The goddess they found was Eris, who appeared to them in a dreamlike vision as a splendid woman whose eyes were soft as feather and as deep as eternity itself, and whose body was the spectacular dance of atoms and universes. And here's the charge of that goddess. I have come to tell you that you are free. Many ages ago, my consciousness left man that he might develop himself. I return to find this development approaching completion, but hindered by fear and misunderstanding. You have built for yourself psychic suits of armour, and clad in them your vision is restricted. Your movements are clumsy and painful, your skin is bruised, and your spirit is broiled in the sun. I am chaos. I am the substance from which your artists and scientists build rhythms. I am the spirit with which your children and clowns laugh in happy anarchy. I am chaos. I am alive, and I tell you that you are free. Now, the Principia offers a very different view of Eris to that held by the ancient Greeks. The modern-day goddess honoured by Erisians is a trickster deity of freedom and subversive humour, rather than the cruel goddess who loved warfare and battles. Whether she is the same goddess or whether they are actually two with the same name might bother theologians, but for Erisians, inconsistencies like that are just part of the fun of working with Eris. Another famous quote from the Principia covers potential flame war material of whether two incompatible things can both be true, and it takes the form of a discussion between two people, GP and M2. GP, is Eris true? M2, everything is true. GP, even false things? M2, even false things are true. GP, how can that be? M2, I don't know, man, I didn't do it. Now, there are many ways of interpreting the seeming impossibility of the idea, everything is true, even the false things. You can take it to mean that everyone has their own truth and we should respect each other's ideas on religion or spirituality, even if we don't think their point of view makes sense. You can also take it as a koan, a paradox to be meditated on in an effort to escape intellectual reasoning and to gain intuitive enlightenment. Or you can just take it as humour. The Principia Discordia is full of humour. It's quite likely the most humorous religious text ever written. Read it and have a good laugh. Eris gets a joke too. The way I encountered Eris was through reading the Illuminatus trilogy, a series of science fiction books by Robert Shea and Robert Anton Wilson, published in 1975 and inspired by the Principia and Discordianism. I read the novels avidly, one after the other, while lying on my sofa suffering from a nasty bout of flu one winter, and I was captivated. I was, no doubt, feverish and possibly delirious, but the goddess Eris seemed to speak to me through the books, and later in my thoughts and dreams. I had been feeling trapped in a lifestyle I found dull, and the message she gave me was that I could change that if I wanted to. Anything is possible. She set me on the way to becoming a pagan and a writer and having a lot of fun. Once, many years later, after I had consumed some then legal magic mushrooms while on holiday in Amsterdam, she even stepped out of the television in my hotel bedroom and initiated me as her priestess. I should perhaps add that she was dressed as Barbie at the time and told me to wear more pink. See the pink? Lots of pink? Well, maybe. Everything is true. Well, thanks for listening to that. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to be reading from other books that I've written and contributed to over the next few weeks. If you want to catch up with me on my blog, it's called A Bad Witch's Blog, and you can find that at www.badwitch.co.uk. Thank you very much and goodbye.